Our topic is the secret to your success, key strategies to reach your potential post-COVID-19. As we begin our talk today, one of the most popular movies of 2006 was a movie by the name of The Pursuit of Happiness. It was a movie starring Will Smith and his son Jaden Smith. It was based upon this rags to riches story of Chris Gardner. Now, to summarize the story quickly, Chris Gardner was a man trying to survive in life pursuing a dream. Chris spent all of his savings. He spent his last dime on a product that he felt would turn his situation around. He bought a bunch of medical scanners in which he tried to sell to doctors, only to find out to his dismay that his medical scanners were obsolete because of the invention of the X-ray machine. The path he thought would bring him success became blocked, and what he thought was going to bring him happiness was just a dead end. I know many of you feel today that you're in a dead-end situation due to this pandemic. Businesses have to be shut down. People have to live this new normal and not really knowing where things are going or how things are going to get back to the way they used to be. Well, I want to tell you this today that, trouble doesn't last always, and you have to prepare yourself for what's next. There's a future. Well, to go back to my story, Chris's first pursuit of happiness was quickly brought to a close. Again, it didn't work out. And so one day, while walking down the street of New York City, at a place called Wall Street, he encountered this stockbroker and he encountered all these businessmen who, in his mind, had obtained happiness. And he set out that he would one day become those stockbrokers who seemed to be above others, seemed to possess the happiness that he so eagerly longed for. Well, the movie goes on to show that in Chris's pursuit of happiness, he loses his wife, loses his home, and almost loses his son. Yet in the midst of all his losses, he persevered in his pursuits. And in doing so, he increased the probability of his possibility of reaching true happiness. And later, in that story, he attains that which he sought and reaches goals, only to realize that it wasn't money that brought him happiness. It wasn't the job he wanted that brought him true happiness, but actually the happiness lied in his willingness to persevere. So I can give you any help on how to attain your goals and turn a challenging time into a primer for a bright future, it would be to persevere. That's my simple message. Just like Chris Gardner, some of us are in pursuit of our own happiness. However, our standards, our view, our goal of what happiness is sometimes can be so far from what it's really all about. Think about it. Most of us, we measure happiness by the car we drive, the clothes we wear, the amount of money that we possess, the groups and social settings we belong to, or the type of job we have, the position over others that we possess. But if you ask someone who's older, someone in their 80s, someone in their 90s, somebody that's been there, done that, they'll tell you that your valuables aren't the source of true success, and they're not the true source of happiness. Some of the saddest people I know are those that have more stuff than you can imagine. Some of the saddest people I know run in a circle like a cat chasing its tail, looking for love and happiness in all the wrong places, only to find that they have a huge treasure chest with no real treasure in it. So my advice during this webinar for you tonight is like in the Bible. I believe it is found in Matthew chapter 5. I want you to prepare for a bright future. You've got to keep your eyes on things that will not change. Possess traits that will outlive the temporary. One of the things you should do right now is be a giver. That's point number one. Blessings are directly correlated to what you give, which in turn determines what you receive. So now is the time to sow your seed. Educate yourself. Invest in the right people. Invest in the right business. Invest in the right ventures. What we are encountering one day will pass. And now is the time to prepare for that. One saying I love is a saying that says this: blessed are the poor in spirit. What does that mean? What does it mean, blessed are the poor in spirit? It simply means basically you're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. It just means it's time for a shift. It's time to get a new rope to climb, a new adventure to go on. So if you're feeling like you're at the end of your rope, don't worry. It's just time to make a shift in your life in a better direction. That's what it's all about. Also, now is the time to learn the art of contentment. You're in better shape when you learn to be happy with who you are, who God made you to be. The worst thing you can do in life is not accept who you were made to be. Now is the time to embrace your strengths and prepare to use them in a way that you've never used them before. Maybe if you're a good writer, it's a good time to start writing that book. If you're a good salesman, maybe now is a better time than ever to sell what people really need right now. There's always an opportunity in the midst of challenges. You have the gift of life right now. And now that we see how precious it really is, it's time to live it to the fullest and to take control. But another thing I want to do, and I want to tell you today, is remember that now is a time to seek peace in your life. Many people have come to me and said this. It's amazing how all that's been going on this year has caused me to do something that I've never done, that I never do. And that is to slow down a little bit. It brought me something I've needed for a long time. They say it's brought me peace. One thing I've learned time and time again is that it's hard to climb the ladder to your destiny if your life is in turmoil. A peaceful road is always an easier road to get where you're going. You think you can, think about it, you can think clear when you're in a peaceful state. You can work on your goals better when you're in a peaceful state. So now is the time to be thankful for the peace. And so in the future, you'll be ready for the challenges or the opportunities and have the strength to face them. So all I want to take the time to say to you tonight is to climb the highest mountain you can. Even if there's resistance, you can do it. Even if the road gets rough, keep on going, keep on pressing. Remember, the higher the mountain, the sweeter the victory. That's what it's all about. And don't forget, in this world, you'll have some trouble. You have some, what the Bible says, tribulations. In this world, trouble's going to knock at many doors. But watch this. God said, I have overcome it all. So remember to stick to your faith, and it will help you as you head into your tomorrows. Listen, I would love to continue the conversation with you, and I have a new book that I want to share with you tonight. It's called The Secret to Your Success, 12 Steps to Turning Your Dreams into a Reality. I really believe this will help you out. If you want to reach your potential after these challenging times, I want you to remember these key points, and then we will close this webinar. If you can face it, you can fix it. Remember that. If you can face it, you can fix it. Step out of your comfort zone. Now is the time to do some things that may be a little uncomfortable. Free yourself from the limits of life. And don't let fear stop you. Keep the faith. Start working on projects that maximize your strengths and not your weaknesses. Don't settle for less than the best. Find the good in everything that you go through. All we encounter can be a lesson and can even be a blessing. And lastly, never lose your enthusiasm. If you can live your life following these principles, I guarantee and decree that the future is going to be a bright one for you. Again, I want to thank you for your time, for hearing this message, and I pray that you're staying safe and are staying very well. I'd love for you to pick up my book and also share it with a friend. It'll give you a whole new perspective on life and on what success is really all about, and it will prepare you for post-COVID-19. I want to thank Thriving Financial for all your help in developing this platform for me to speak to the people. And now I want to have this chat with Melissa Bell on some financial strategies to help you through these challenging times. Take care, and God bless you. Well, I hope you enjoyed the webinar, but it's not over yet. I have Melissa Bell here, who's from our sponsor, Thriving Financial. Melissa is a community engagement leader. Thank you so much, Melissa, for being on the webinar with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And you have helped so many people, including myself and a lot of my friends, when it comes to being wise with money. But you helped me out with one thing that I want our viewers to know about, and that's called rebalancing your budget, especially during this pandemic and even for after. So tell us a little bit about those tools.
Well, we have a lot of tools you can use virtually to help you rebalance, but the most important thing that you can do in this time is reflection. Yeah. Taking a real deep dive at where you're at and restructuring your values and your budget, or your budget to meet those values. Mm-hmm. Likely things have changed a little bit for you over these past few months, and this is a wonderful time to reflect and rebalance.
Wow, you have some tools for that. Tell us about that tool that you have available.
We do. So we have a free template that you can use to balance those monthly expenses. We also, if you don't want the paper and like the virtual ease, on thriveit.com, we have a virtual balancing sheet through our credit union where you can enter in your figures and and find something that's going to be valuable to you to use.
That's good, but you also help with spending. I know a lot of people right now need some help to figure out, hey, what should I be really spending my money on right now?
Well, and as I mentioned, life has changed a little bit lately, and likely you have found ways that you are not spending the money that you used to spend. So this is a great time to look at those practical items and things that you had been spending money on in the past that maybe now have changed. Maybe those fancy coffees that you were picking up every day when you were out and about. Obviously, you've been living without those, and you might find that that's something that you want to continue because there's an opportunity for you to spend in different ways, and maybe ways that are a little bit more impactful to you or your community. For example, supporting your congregation, your church, and the programs that it's offering. Or maybe you have found that supporting local business is very important to you, and you'd like to find ways to do that more often. So you can restructure that budget to find those pockets where you can spend it in different ways.
So the biggest strategy, again, is to rebalance, restructure, and also balance your spending. So I appreciate you, Melissa, for giving us those tips. And those resources can be found where? Where can we find those resources?
At thrivent.com, you can start, and if you put in the word budget in search, you're going to find a lot of great information, resources, and tools for you to balance. You can also find a financial professional located in your area, and that is probably our best tool we offer because they can find solutions that are tailored specifically for you.
I can attest to that. The financial professionals at Thrivent have been a joy to work with. So I just want to behoove all of our viewers to make sure you go to thrivent.com, and there'll be some great resources and great people for you to work with. Again, Melissa, thank you so much for these tips and these tools. And I hope you have a safe rest of the summer.
Oh, thanks to you too.
Okay, thank you. All right. I think that was good.